We're taking now to Zimbabwe, where history is being made as we speak. Former Vice President and now President Emmerson Mnangagwa has just been sworn in to the highest office of the land. He's taken over from Robert Mugabe, who resigned from office earlier this week. The new President Mnangagwa is now receiving a gun salute from the military. Let's take you there.
Sure, he would have wanted to come here anyway to watch the inauguration of his successor. He so reluctantly resigned after so much pressure from the generals and, of course, but all of this change has been achieved without.
The parade commander now invites the president to inspect the guard of honor, accompanied by Commander Defense Forces only.
And 6 detachments of 31 members each, number 1 and 2 detachments from the Zimbabwean National Army and the Central Bank, 3 Air Force of Zimbabwe, 4 and 5 Zimbabwean National Army Women Services, number 6 detachments, Air Force of Zimbabwe Women Services, band and drums from the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, all from up in open order, ready for inspection.
So you're watching the new president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, being called to inspect the guard of honor with the leadership of the military. Of course, you would expect Mr. Mnangagwa to have a close relationship with the military because all this began with them, didn't it? These events began a couple of weeks ago after Mr. Mnangagwa was fired as vice president by then President Robert Mugabe. It led to a military takeover, a peaceful coup d'etat, if you can call that, of leadership, of governance. Mr. Mugabe was convinced, he was spoken to, he was coerced, he refused to resign in that interesting speech he delivered last Sunday, where everyone was expecting Mr. Mugabe to resign. He did not. Later on Tuesday, a letter was delivered to Parliament when Parliament was deliberating on impeaching him, on his impeachment procedures, and he eventually resigned through that letter. So Mr. Mnangagwa, with the military leadership there, inspecting, heading towards the military parade to inspect the guard of honor that has been erected. This ceremony is taking place in the Harare Stadium. Huge ceremony, as you can see, massive crowds. The euphoria is palpable in the air. You can tell that so many people are excited about what is going on. Of course, this has been reflected in the reaction of the people to the news that occurred that broke, I should say, on Tuesday when Robert Mugabe resigned. There was spontaneous jubilation throughout Zimbabwe, well, major parts of Zimbabwe, as reports suggested. And the people who were initially demonstrating against Robert Mugabe and naturally were jubilating, they were celebrating his resignation. So that Mr. Mnangagwa, the President Mnangagwa, forgive me, inspecting the Guard of Honor, inspecting the military parade with the leadership of the army. Mr. Mnangagwa is with the second pair of men, if you count from the front. He's standing on the far side, walking on the far side, on the other side of the military general who's holding a sword there. I'm sure you can see him there in your shot. He was just sworn in as the new president of Zimbabwe. Now remember, he's the second executive president, but he's not the second president, because between 1982 and 1987, Robert Mugabe was prime minister, and there was a ceremonial president, a ceremonial head of state between 82 and 87. After 87, the constitution of Zimbabwe was changed. Robert Mugabe was made president, executive president over the nation. It's been like that since 1987. And that was not even the beginning of Mr. Mugabe's role, as I've told you. He's been in power for 37 years, one of the freedom fighters for Zimbabwe, and very much of an iconic figure. Unfortunately, Mr. Mugabe is not present at this ceremony, which you are watching now. Reports we have indicate that he did not attend. And normally, the people of Zimbabwe, from the interviews we've had with journalists on the ground, the people of Zimbabwe would have expected that Mr. Mugabe would be present at the ceremony to, hand over a baton of sorts to Emmerson, Mnangagwa, and but Mr. Mugabe is not. The information we have is that he has sought for asylum in South Africa. So he'll be moving to South Africa if that goes through.
position, but
to say to you. Off the border town along by.
All right, just another break in.
Okay. So those are some scenes from the Harare Stadium in Zimbabwe, where Emmerson Mnangagwa has just been sworn in as president. A historic moment, as you can imagine. First time in 37 years. It will be interesting to see how events unfold in the next few weeks, to see how his government shapes up, to see how his cabinet is formed.